Hello and welcome to Newsclick. Today we have with us Admiral Ramdas, and we're going to discuss the current phase of nationalism which is being now propagated across the country. This militarized version of nationalism in which the retired army officers have marched. They wanted a tank to be placed within the university campus. Admiral Ramdas, this is something qualitatively new. We didn't have really retired army officers marching against an university, and that too one of the well-known leading universities in the country. Do you think this indicates a phase in Indian politics where the military is also sought to be politicized?
You know, army normally marches against enemies, and we are considering our Jawaharlal Nehru University as an enemy, then there is something radically wrong with us. So, if that is the way they interpret nationalism, and I certainly don't, I think every Indian is an Indian. This kind of infiltration into a university is not at all called for, and especially under the flag of nationalism, because all of us, as I said, I think know exactly what it means, what it involves, and frankly, this kind of imagery of holding a flag high or keeping a tank here, or I mean, they're all right, they can put a tank there. What do I do? Does the Navy bring in a warship there and say, right, look at it? So, I think this is all, I hope, it's only a transitory phase, because if after 64 years of independence, we have to teach our own children what is nationalism or what is India and what is the tricolour, there's something wrong with the parents and people who do the cause of nationalism.
You know, the argument here is our soldiers are laying down their lives and these people are disrespecting that sacrifice. Now, the issue really is, if we see it, that the students have always been interrogating various things, and it's not a question of a particular nationalism, but different kinds of nationalism that may also be interrogated, can be discussed, and so on. So, do you think that this also straitjackets the way we want to look at the nation, that it's a powerful, masculine, militarized nation, that is what we really want? So, do you think that is the ideology which is playing behind this?
I really don't know what is the ideology. But all I can say, this is a very strange kind of behavior on the part of those who represent this kind of idea, because it doesn't call for certainly the armed forces to go into any university, which is after all a seat of learning for youngsters who come together from all walks of life, from all parts of India, especially the Jawaharlal Nehru University, which is a microcosm of India itself. And there will be people and from all parts representing all kinds of views, all kinds of attitudes, all kinds of ideas, and all kinds of criticism each one must be prepared to face, because that is the beauty and strength in a way of our country, that we have people at that age coming up with ideas, coming up with their dissenting views on certain policies. And that, to my way of thinking, is all to the good. That doesn't make them anti-national or anything of the kind. It only shows that we are a bubbling, dynamic society.
And we should be able to survive a few slogans, as it were.
Oh, absolutely, because slogan shouting is very common, particularly I think with politicians, and then it comes down to the university, who is at fault? Not the students. Others who shout slogans should realize that this is also an effect that happens in a university.
And if you shout slogans against a community, which yesterday happened, that Muslims should be killed in Agra, for instance, you know, there are different kinds of slogans being shouted. They really destroy the fabric of the country, not a few students shouting something.
No, I think people in responsible positions, especially who own public office, whether it be in the government, outside the government, I think they must all understand their responsibilities and not make such statements, because India is a secular, well, those who don't like the word secular, India is a country with all kinds of people who follow all kinds of religions and faiths and languages and so on. And we have never let that come in our way of our functioning. and I believe that that should be the only way. And we don't have to even talk about it. It's all laid down in our, what I call the only holy book that I follow is called the Constitution of India, where a lot of time, nearly 2 years was spent, people discussing it, and finally it took shape, and we adopted it in November 1949, if I am not mistaken. So, see, almost 2 years went in just creating that constitution. There were a lot of debates, pro, anti, and finally that emerged.
It's interesting because actually the kind of complexity we have in India, very few countries really have. And creating that kind of a nation was in some sense a unique achievement.
Oh, absolutely. I think, I don't think anywhere in the world you can replicate in India. I don't mean it in the negative sense, in a positive sense, because here is a land of peoples from all over the world who came thousands of years ago, who made India their home. And we are very proud of that because we've got all kinds of peoples with all kinds of religions, all kinds of faiths,
all kinds of languages.
Small numbers, some in bigger numbers, all kinds of languages. And we have lived happily, and suddenly, I don't know, there seems to be some kind of need for somebody to disturb the pot, as it were, you know.
You've been also a strong votary of India and Pakistan friendship and been a part of trying to get Indian people-to-people contact with Pakistani people and trying to build bridges. How do you see this today? And in the context of what's happening, do you think that we have a possibility of actually rebuilding our relationships? Of course, it takes both sides to do it, not one.
It's not so much of a possibility as indeed a responsibility which we have to demonstrate by much better neighborhood management. We have taken our neighbors for granted all these years, and if anything has to be achieved, it has to be achieved politically, because we are a country which believes in that system, that we are a democracy, we have got a political system, we follow that system and have done all these years. And suddenly to find that nothing is happening or something is happening or something could happen, I think in my own experience I can say we were moving along nicely, I felt, but then for every 3 steps we take forward, you slide back 2 or sometimes even more. So it's not very happy kind of development, but that's been going on and on and on. The reason, to my way of thinking, is largely because both India and Pakistan have not understood the game some of the third powers are playing, who benefit a lot by the continuing conflictual situation between India and Pakistan. And that is because I think their main aim is to sell their arms and armaments to both the warring, for want of a better expression, less known individuals who go and do this marketing. There must be something in it because it's and nowadays it's big money involved. India emerged as the largest single importer of arms last year. And frankly, we thought that after 71 and East Pakistan becoming Bangladesh and something else, much of and the people-to-people contact improving, that maybe we will come to some kind of understanding. I think it's important we do, and the same applies for our relations with China. I think we have to come to some political understanding and be realistic. We cannot carry on and still sing the same song as the British had. We are no longer a colony.
Last question. When we became 2 nations, Pakistan and India, India was a secular, inclusive country. That was as you said, that was the constitution we had. Pakistan was based as an Islamic state, and the military took over at a certain point, became politicized, the military became politicized, and also under Ziaul Haq, it became highly Islamic. In fact, that was the transformation of the Pakistan state. Do you think we are following similar patterns?
First, forgive me, I must correct you. When Pakistan emerged with Jinnah as the president, they had also a secular state and a constitution which was secular, very much like what we have. But after the assassination, of course, the death of Jinnah, and then Liaquat Ali Khan, who was assassinated, then was the great cry to somehow, when all these big things happen, they want to change things. So then the Islamic Republic of Pakistan was born, mainly under Ziaul Haq much later, but it happened around that time. So that is the first thing we must understand. Admittedly, we were partitioned. We had terrible times, both on our side and on their side. But having somehow gotten over that, we must appreciate that the feelings in Pakistan, the feelings in India have been whipped up over time. And we understand that there is a great Islamic feeling in Pakistan. But there are a large number of people there also who do not believe in whatever even their so-called Islamic Republic says. Like in India, I think what has been understood and respected over the last 6.5 decades is now suddenly being upset or disturbed by the government and the RSS. They want to have a Hindu Rashtra. Now, we are not a small, island in the Pacific that you can say, all right, any extras, throw you out. You can't do that. We have over 150 million Muslims in this country. They have lived here. Their grandfathers have lived here. Their great-great-great-grandfathers have lived here. They are born here. This is a part of their own land. Why should we now distrust them just because in 1947 we had chartered ourselves a particular constitution which some people did not agree and they still don't agree? So I think this requires some understanding of the whole realities. We can't bulldoze them into the Arabian Sea or Bay of Bengal and say all the minorities go away. That's why you hear often this phrase, अरे नहीं तो उसको पाकिस्तान भेज दो, अरे पाकिस्तान में को डस्टबिन है, जाके फेंक दो उधर. They're not there waiting for you. So therefore, you must be realistic. And none of these people want to leave. If tomorrow I were to be told, no, you go to Pakistan, you were told to go to Pakistan, we'll say, well, she's gone mad.
Thank you very much, Admiral Ramdas. Hope to have you with us more to have these discussions. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
That's all we have time for Newsclick today. Keep watching Newsclick.